With Obi-Wan Kenobi ending a month ago and Andor hitting Disney Plus in August, it's the perfect time to revisit my Star Wars movie ranking. Especially considering it'll probably be 5 years until Disney gets their shit together and figures out the film side of things. Admittedly though, this video is way overdue, like by 2 or 3 years. My last Star Wars ranking was 4 summers ago, and let me say, things have changed. Because apparently I used to kind of like the sequel trilogy, if you remember the scores I gifted each of those movies.
That's not what I meant.
But things are different now, and I want to give you my updated thoughts on each film. So let's do that. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the ultimate Star Wars ranking. No shock here, The Rise of Skywalker is dead last at number 11. This is an atrocious movie. I wish I never wasted my time seeing it twice in theaters. And there's one line that speaks for itself, telling us all just how bad this movie truly is.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Number 10. This would have been an unpopular choice in 2015 having this movie so low, but at number 10, it's The Force Awakens. If you remember, people loved this movie when it came out. It still has a good critics and audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and fans were calling it the best Star Wars movie since The Empire Strikes Back in 1980. That's a 35-year gap. However, I was one of the few who was not a fan of The Force Awakens when it came out. And even though I've been back and forth even to this day with how I feel about this movie, I don't think it's very good because it's not. It never has been and never will be. There are so many coincidences and conveniences. There's a ton of cringy dialogue. Like, why do so many people in this universe think the Force, Jedi, and Luke Skywalker are myths? It would make sense if it's been hundreds, if not thousands of years in between movies, but it's only been 30 years. That's not long. Not to mention how many cringe-worthy moments there are in The Force Awakens, mostly including Rey. Speaking of the Mary Sue herself, Rey, yeah, she's an awful character. She's the worst of the trilogy. There aren't many good characters in this trilogy, and she's certainly not one of them. I don't like the direction of this trilogy's story either. I don't know why they made it so similar to A New Hope. It should have been more focused on Jedi because that's what everyone wanted. And sure, I can throw this movie on anytime and be entertained, but that doesn't mean it's good. The only reason for this movie's existence in my eyes is to entertain me, and yeah, it does that, but it doesn't mean it's good. It has tons of problems. And by now I look at this movie along with its 2 sequels as non-canon. Number 9. Okay, The Last Jedi isn't a good movie, but I somehow find this movie more rewatchable than the other 2 in this sequel trilogy. And are you really going to complain I'm placing it above 2 other bad movies? You shouldn't, because none of them are good. There are a few things that stand out from The Last Jedi that I want to highlight and give you guys a good reason for why I think this is the best of the trilogy. The opening space battle was a lot of fun. It's great to see Mark Hamill back as Luke again. Benicio del Toro is charming. Snoke's death was shocking and put the trilogy on a great roadmap to make Kylo Ren the main villain moving forward, only for Rise of Skywalker to ruin that potential. But obviously, outside of those things, this movie fails when it focuses on Rose, Finn, Rey, Poe, and Laura Dern's pink-haired lady. And of course they screwed up Luke too, but it's not even worth mentioning that at this point. If only they had cleaned up this movie's trash and focused on the best plot lines while sharpening Luke's story and giving us a true lightsaber duel during the finale, I think this could have been a real show stealer. Number 8. A lot of people probably won't agree with this, but Rogue One ranks at number 8 for me. Now we're at the movies that don't make me as mad. But unlike so many Star Wars enthusiasts, I'm not a crazy big fan of Rogue One. I think it's entertaining. I don't have any major problems with it. It's absolutely one of the most complete Disney Star Wars products yet. It has the full package. But is that enough? Well, in my opinion, no. There are 0 risks taken in Rogue One. If you think about it, the movie only has 4 scenes. You have the jumping back and forth between planet to planet sequence in the beginning, then our heroes take an extended adventure to 2 planets followed by the massive finale. There's just nothing about Rogue One that blows my mind or makes me want to watch it again. The way people describe Rogue One, you'd think it's one of the most incredible movies ever made. But can anybody tell me what's actually great about the film except for that Vader scene? Listen, it's a perfectly fine movie, but the characters are bland, the story is nothing special, the universe looks dull. It's 100% better than the other 3 films I put below it on this list, but it's nothing special. I don't know why people love this movie so much. Number 7. Solo: A Star Wars Story is a film I can describe as fun, because that's exactly what I had while watching this one in theaters in 2018. Unlike Rogue One, Solo takes risks. It recasts Han Solo, one of the most iconic characters in movie history, and it mostly works. I loved Alden Ehrenreich's portrayal of Han Solo. Same with Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian. I can't wait to see Donald Glover again as that character. In fact, all of the characters in Solo are better than any of the characters introduced in the rest of Disney Star Wars movies. On top of that, Solo is funny, it feels distinct, there's a few good twists and cameos, it's non-stop fun, and it's a pretty simple film. I never once expected Solo to be this transcendent movie viewing experience. It's definitely not that. But that's okay, because it didn't try to tell this ambitious story like Rogue One attempted to. Now, is Solo a great movie? No, but I think it's good, and it's absolutely underrated. I don't need every movie I watch to blow my mind, and Solo is a little more special compared to the other Disney Star Wars movies, and I enjoy it. Number 6. Okay, I'd be doing this list a disservice if I didn't rank the original 6 movies in the top 6. Placing dead last out of those 6 movies, though, is The Phantom Menace. And the main reason for that is because it's the slowest paced, most dull movie out of the original and prequel trilogies. The Phantom Menace can be pretty boring, the dialogue is stale sometimes, and it's not like the actors deliver it to the highest degree. And that's exactly why I rank it at the bottom of the barrel out of the original 6, but its highs are really high. Between the pod race and Duel of the Fates, those are maybe 2 of the top 5 best scenes in Star Wars history. They are tremendous sequences. I could watch them till the end of my life and never be bored. I love them. I don't mind some of the performances. I mostly like Qui-Gon Jinn, played by Liam Neeson, who is great, and I love seeing him in Kenobi. All in all, when the Phantom Menace is turned up, it's great, but when the boring scenes hit, like that entire Coruscant sequence, which always puts me to sleep, that's when this movie fails. It's a big part of my childhood, though, and it's 100% canon in my book. I'd be doing it a disservice if I did not rank it here. Number 5. For whatever reason, I still find Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones an immensely entertaining movie. Whether it's through the action sequences, world building, or hilarious dialogue, I always have a good time watching Attack of the Clones. Don't get me wrong, Attack of the Clones is bad. It's unintentionally bad. But in terms of canon, it works, despite the fact that this movie is so bad it's good. I have 0 issues with Episode 2's storytelling and action sequences. Obviously, Attack of the Clones is bad from a writing standpoint, but at this point in my life, I don't care. I still enjoy watching the movie. And what type of human being isn't searching for a mix of comedy and entertainment? Yes, this movie is unintentionally funny, and some of the green screen / special effects look awful. But I'm completely okay with that, because Attack of the Clones is a blast. I have a heck of a good time whenever I watch it. When there's dialogue, I'm hysterical. There's so many memes inspired by Attack of the Clones. And when the movie wants you to take it serious, it's great. Just look at the scene between Anakin and his mother. It's traumatic. It's really well done. The music too is phenomenal. There's a lot to love about Attack of the Clones. At the end of the day, I will forever be entertained by this movie, and nothing will change that. Number 4. Placing 4th is Return of the Jedi. Yeah, you probably saw this one coming. Return of the Jedi is a great movie. As a matter of fact, episodes 3 through 6 are all great. But it's also my least favorite between those 4 episodes, and for good reason. It's mostly due to the Ewok stuff, which bores the crap out of me whenever I watch this one. Every single time, I want to skip over it. It's not as bad when we get towards the finale when the Ewoks are fending off the stormtroopers, but it's painfully bad when the Ewoks capture our heroes and they're stuck with them for 15 to 20 minutes. I can't stand that sequence. But if you can forget about all of that and Luke's abysmal plan in Jabba's palace, your mind will be blown, because Return of the Jedi has some of the most mesmerizing moments of the original trilogy. For real, Return of the Jedi is a classic. You got the Jabba palace and Sarlacc pit stuff, the Battle of Endor, the Vader and Luke scenes. It's all iconic. This film is legendary for its moments. It's absolutely one of the best third movies of a trilogy ever made, and that's where I'll leave it. Number 3. Speaking of legendary moments, The Empire Strikes Back has Star Wars' most legendary moment of all time, the I am your father scene. But that's not the only thing this cinematic staple has to offer. You've got the Battle of Hoth, Luke's training, Han and Leia's romance, Lando Calrissian's introduction, Boba Fett, and of course Darth Vader. Plus, it's one of the only Star Wars movies that ends on a cliffhanger. Sometimes I go back and forth between placing The Empire Strikes Back first, second, or third, and it just so happens as of right now that The Empire Strikes Back is my third favorite Star Wars movie, which isn't bad at all. The only thing that ever holds The Empire Strikes Back from being number 1 or 2 for me on the list is when Luke first arrives at Dagobah and meets Yoda. Those 10 minutes are pretty slow, and there aren't any slower paced scenes that come to mind in the two movies I place above this. Most people would say The Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie, but I'm gonna be in the minority and place it at number 3. Number 2. A New Hope places second on my ultimate Star Wars ranking. The way I see it, there is not a single dull moment in my opinion. The story is one of the most famous of all time, seeing young Luke Skywalker leave home to fight against the evil Empire. There's numerous iconic lines, several funny moments, incredible practical and visual effects for its time, and the final 2 acts are riveting between the Death Star chase and the Battle of Yavin. This is also the movie where audiences got introduced to one of the most intimidating villains in movie history, Darth Vader. The characters across the board are classic and very memorable. Each time I watch A New Hope, I laugh and cry. I don't have anything bad to say about it. Number 1. Ranked at number 1 though, for the first time in my channel's history, is Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. Is it really a shocker after all of these years, video after video about Revenge of the Sith, that it is my favorite Star Wars movie? Let's go through it again. The opening 20 minutes are immaculate. The politics this time around are actually riveting. Revenge of the Sith also tells my favorite story of the 11 movies. Anakin's turn to the dark side is heartbreaking, and with every watch I shed tears. In comparison to Attack of the Clones, the performances greatly improve. Ian McDiarmid especially steals the show as Palpatine in this entry. And don't forget about how entertaining Revenge of the Sith is. Whether it's these large-scale battles and lightsaber duels, or every scene shared between Anakin and Palpatine, or the Order 66 stuff, which is bound to make anybody watching upset. It's all so well done. This is one of my favorite movies ever made. A film I grew up watching as a kid and have seen it 100 times over since. There is nothing that ranks above Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith in my opinion. Alright, so what are your guys' thoughts on the ultimate Star Wars ranking? Do you agree with my list or not? Let me know your lists, thoughts, and opinions down below in the comments. And of course, as always, if you are new to my channel, click that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.